Hi, welcome to Stitchback Stories. I'm Michelle, and in this video I'm going to show you how I embroider all of my custom patches on my single needle embroidery machine. Now I have the Brother NQ1600 behind me, but I use the exact same process that I'm going to show you to make patches on my Brother PE800. If you haven't seen my series on how to digitize any custom patch design, make sure you check it out. I'll put all the links in the description. All of my patches are my original illustrations, and in that series I show you step by step how to digitize any of your custom designs. A lot of professional digitizing software can cost over $1,000 and nobody want to pay that just to make a few patches. So make sure to check out the series if you want to learn how to digitize patches on a much more affordable software. And if you're here because you already digitize design, or maybe you bought an applique on the internet, now I'm going to show you step by step how I embroider them on my machine to get a perfect patch. Let's get started! To start, I hoop my hoop with 2 layers of a water-soluble stabilizer. You want to use this one that has a fabric texture and not the one that has a film texture. And before I even start embroidering my design, I like to create a template so that I can pre-cut all my fabric pieces beforehand. So I'm just using this piece of cardstock, but you can also use a thin cereal box or something similar. Tape the piece of paper in the center of the hoop. On the paper, stitch out the position stitch, which should be the first color in your design. Do not thread anything in the needle. You can use an older needle or one that you plan on changing if you'd like. Because there's no thread in the needle, your machine may stop every few stitches. That's okay, just push the start button again to continue. Once the machine goes around the entire design, you can cut out the shape using the holes as a guide. You can now use this as a template to trace on your fabric. I like to label mine so that I can make more in the future. Trace as many pieces as you want and then cut out your fabric. I'm using an organic cotton twill here. I like to cut out a bunch of my patch designs at once and keep them in a little bin. Now the patch I'm making in this tutorial is fully embroidered, so I don't treat the fabric. If you are making a patch that has fabric in the background, you might want to buy a patch specific twill or add some sort of backing. You can see how it's a little wavy here after I washed it. And I like the texture that I get for this particular patch, but you might not always want that. In this patch, I added some heat and bond to the back, and you can see how it's a little bit better. Next, I tried heat and bond plus a lightweight interfacing, so you can see this one is much smoother. And finally, I tried a heavyweight interfacing, and this one did a pretty good job as well. Okay, so to start embroidering, first sew the position stitch onto the stabilizer. Make sure to restart your design if you just used the position stitch to make the paper template. I'm embroidering one patch on this small hoop here, but usually I use a larger hoop and embroider multiple patches on it. Take your fabric piece and spray some temporary fabric adhesive on the back. Place the fabric sticky side down directly over the position stitch. Then sew the tack down stitch. It should already be the next stitch in your design. And now you can continue embroidering the rest of the patch, letting the machine do the job. If there is fabric showing around the edges after you finish embroidering the background, you can either edit this in your digitizing software or take some small curved scissors and carefully trim the excess fabric off. Once your design is done embroidering, take the hoop out of the machine and trim all the jump stitches. Again, I like to use these small curved scissors along with this tiny pair of Revlon tweezers. Cut away the excess stabilizer, trimming close to the edge of the patch. And finally, apply warm water to dissolve any of the leftover stabilizer. If you want the patch to be an iron-on, you can use the same template we created earlier to trace out the iron-on backing. When ironing on the backing, make sure to match the shiny side to the back of the patch. Use a pressing cloth to protect the design. For extra security, iron from both the front and the back. Once the patch is cooled, remove the backing and trim the edges. If your patch is rough around the edges and you already tried trimming away the stray threads and fabric, you can try cleaning it up a bit more with either a lighter or a hot knife. I use this wood burning tool that I got from Amazon. Just be careful that you don't melt all the way through your threads. It's also a good idea to keep a paper towel nearby to clean the hot knife as you go. And there it is, a perfect patch! I hope you learned some new tricks in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe to see future content. Bye!